Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as TIFU by accidentally free climbing a mountain. This post received 44,891 upvotes. Posted by Tender-Hearted XX. The post reads as follows. So this actually happened yesterday, and I'm still shaken up over it. My boyfriend and I decided to visit Zapata Falls in Colorado after taking a social distance COVID-style road trip. We saw the waterfall and it was magnificent. There were tons of people, few of whom wore masks, so we ventured in a side direction. I noticed a very climb-able ridge and trying to be spontaneous I began to climb. Well, after a few minutes I was having trouble finding my footing and looked down to see it would be near impossible to descend. Cue the panicked calls for the boyfriend, who came up after me and told me we needed to get to the top since it would be safer. I'll note at this point it looked like the top wasn't too far off. Spoiler. We were wrong. As we began our ascent I tried not to look down or up as it became apparent this wasn't just a small ledge that would lead to the top of the fall. Nope, we were free climbing a mountain. After about half an hour I was panicked. My feet slid at every attempt upwards and I heard the loose rocks I disturbed tumble off. We called 911 from a small flat ledge where we could sit down. The operator was great and told us if we weren't hurt and could make it to the top, there was a trail. That was encouraging enough to press on. In time we came to the top. I clung to the jagged rock as wind raced past while my boyfriend looked for the path. We began to spiral down the mountain, walking diagonally still looking for this trail. Long story short, we never found the trail and we spent hours slowly getting to the bottom. At one point the ground slid and I skinned my leg on a tree trunk, but all things considered we made it down with minimal injuries. From there we walked towards the sound of water and soon voices came into the mix, distant but clear. Thankfully we pinned where we parked and used a compass and map of the location to get us to safety. I cried like a baby when we got to the car. Today I woke up feeling sore in every fiber of my being but super grateful to be alive. TLDR. Thought I was climbing a path to see the top of a waterfall. Ended up free climbing a mountain and spent 6+ hours trying to navigate out of that situation. Special thanks to TJ the 911 operator who calmed me down enough to make it to the top without incurring an expensive helicopter rescue fee. Edit 1. I am blown away by how this has taken off. I'm still en route but wanted to note a few things. 1. I have read comments that clarified I did not free climb but instead free soloed. I know nothing of climbing, clearly, and am grateful for the education. I'm leaving it just to further show my climbing ignorance. 2. Regarding that ignorance, I fully agree this was a dumbass thing to do. I should have stayed on the trail. I endangered myself, my boyfriend and any possible SAR that would need to save my tourist ass. I am not normally this person and I will act accordingly in the future. 3. For those who are posting kind words and encouragement, thank you. I fully acknowledge that I fucked up and am trying to make the best of it. I did learn a lesson and ultimately I am trying to be gentle with myself as we all make mistakes. Thank you for your empathy. Edit 2. I got in late last night but uploaded a video of the initial climb. Super grainy, don't know why, and a drawn route. In the video we thought that tall rock ahead was the top. It was not. Thank you to all the people who did remind me to stay on the trail out of respect for the park, myself and others. I wholeheartedly agree. Without further ado, accidental mountain climb https://imager.com/gallery/nk30iac. A comment from user Porkchop Sandwiches says, after a few minutes I was having trouble finding my footing and looked down to see it would be near impossible to descend. No. This comment received 16,682 upvotes. A reply from the original author Tender-Hearted XX says, yeah, I was low-key afraid of going to sleep in fear of having a nightmare and reliving that moment. I would say half of the climb up was on loose rock and soil. Thank God for good tread. This reply received 7335 upvotes. A comment from user Wubba Lubba Dubstep says, yikes, yeah. This is called getting cliffed out. which can get inexperienced tourists in a bad jam. It can happen when climbing up or down. A lot of times, people will venture down the side of a steep face, then kinda hop down to a flat area where they realize they can absolutely not go down further without falling, and they can't get back up on the cliff they just hopped down from. Also happens with skiers, snowboarder when they cruise down a mountain then are faced with the challenge of hucking off a 50-foot cliff, or tediously climbing back up the mountain in 5 feet of snow. It's a nightmare. You really have to be aware of this risk and not get into anything without knowing the exact route. Sounds like you had to learn the hard way. Edit. Some really cool stories in the replies. I recommend reading them. This comment received 2088 upvotes. A comment from user Toasted Ice says, "Sweaty palms just from reading this." This comment received 2438 upvotes. A comment from user Closet_Transformer says, "Did you see the top of the waterfall though?" This comment received 2083 upvotes. A reply from the original author Tenderhearted XX says, "Haha no. We did not. Turns out we would have had to go right but that was impossible." This reply received 1919 upvotes. A comment from user Deleted User says, "Deleted." This comment received 666 upvotes. A reply from the original author Tenderhearted XX says, "We are en route back home today but I'll try to post pics and the video of the initial climb when we get to our stopping point this evening." This reply received 861 upvotes. A comment from user Lampy McMuffin says, "While that sounds absolutely terrifying, you survived and now have an amazing story to tell." This comment received 2559 upvotes. A comment from user Nanorok says, "Expensive helicopter rescue fee, shrugs." This comment received 1525 upvotes. A comment from user Waterloograd says, "One thing I learned hiking is you don't climb something you can't do in reverse." This comment received 161 upvotes. A comment from user Awkward_Tradition says, "To be precise, you've solo free climbed a mountain. Free climbing is just climbing without anything to assist your ascent. Solo free climbing doesn't use safety gear, or the climber operates it themselves. But how the hell did you get so far up that you couldn't climb down without noticing?" This comment received 405 upvotes. A comment from user Slowflake Leave says, "911 is aid." This comment received 242 upvotes. A comment from user Quintonius the Great says, "I've done this with my dad on our annual Father's Day trip. All fun and games until you're atop a kaleidoscope mountain following game trails running out of water." This comment received 114 upvotes. A comment from user AXZ082 says, "I don't understand why everyone in this thread is so positive about this whole fuck up and saying how it will make an amazing story to tell. Anyone with experience in the outdoors would realize this is sheer stupidity, especially right now. With COVID, many outdoors resources are extremely tight including Forest Service workers and more importantly search and rescue workers. Most places I've been in Colorado even have warnings describing the same thing, how there is a big lack of available resources. Next time, and for everyone who just thinks this will just be a cool story to tell in the future, please do your research before doing any sort of outdoor hiking etc. And know the risks so you aren't putting others in danger to save your dumbass." This comment received 775 upvotes. A comment from user Moose MTNS says, "Finally found a reasonable comment. This isn't a TIFU. It's a How to Be an Asshole Tourist guidebook. They had no business going off trail, attempting a climbable ridge. Trails are there for your safety. Op, if you read this, glad you're okay, but this isn't a cool or neat story to share. Your spontaneity jeopardized you, your BF, and potentially rescuers, if they'd been called. Stay on the damn trail next time." This comment received 139 upvotes. In response, the original author Tenderhearted XX replied, "I did read this and other points. It was a really irresponsible thing to do. I regret immensely putting myself and others in danger and will not be straying from a trail again." Thank you for pointing this out to me. This reply received 9 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, next time stay on the fucking trail. I'm glad it ended okay, but it's people like you that destroy the parks we have here in CO and waste our first responders' resources and time. This comment received 429 upvotes. A comment from user electrical_fish says, as someone who has lived in a tourist location with dangerous trails, you are the type person who ruins it for everyone. I at least applaud you for being physically and mentally tough enough to get yourself out of the situation. This comment received 148 upvotes. A comment from user Moxo31 says, as a local Coloradan, let me first say that I am glad you're not hurt. That being said, you got what you deserve, and you shouldn't be going off trails and disturbing the natural fauna. I'm really sick of people from other states coming here on vacation and disrespecting our beautiful parks. Y'all have seriously ruined this state's pristine beauty. And in the middle of a pandemic, maybe you should think about staying home instead of going on vacation to another state. We don't want people like you here. This comment received 203 upvotes. A comment from user H0Ud says, stupid fucking tourists. This comment received 120 upvotes. A comment from user Viridian Len says, awesome, take my poor man's gold first place medal edited to add. Thanks kind stranger for gold, real gold. This comment received 70 upvotes. A reply from the original author Tender-Hearted XX says, why thank you. This reply received 66 upvotes. A comment from user EOJ1 says, I'm a paramedic working in a similar setting to 911. This isn't something I'd normally advise, but call back. I'm sure TJ would be really glad to hear back. This comment received 3 upvotes. A reply from the original author Tender-Hearted XX says, how would I call back? Like the non-emergency police line and ask for him? I've wanted to thank him. This reply received 3 upvotes.